you're one of those people, I'm sorry, you're being a jerk. For the sake of being a jerk, that's what you're doing. Hey there, Coach Devin here. So I am barbecuing a little bit today, and I got to thinking a little bit about things that I have noticed with some people recently. And I had an experience, which I'll kind of explain on real quick, and then talk about my thoughts on it. So, had an experience. I had a client who I know fairly well, who had some fairly negative things to say, just in general. They're talking about some other people, talking about me a little bit, and we were having this conversation. It wasn't a bad conversation necessarily. It was just a conversation, and I was surprised with what she had to say, insofar as it was a pretty negative thing, and she was pushing it, a kind of hard. That's the best way to put it. She's pushing it kind of hard and saying things in a fairly, for lack of a better term, a harsh manner. And I said, I think you got to be a little careful in how you say that. I'm not taking offense because I know you, and I know that I don't think you're coming from a bad place with this, but I think sometimes other people might take this maybe not so well. Maybe you should think about how you are phrasing it, or maybe try to come off in a slightly different manner next time, because you could really insult people in the way you're saying it, and I don't. I don't find it insulting. I tend to be pretty open to that stuff and pretty open to criticism in general. I try to be all the time open to criticism, but I feel like since I know you, I'm comfortable with it. But maybe you're not saying things the right way. And the response was back, well, I'm just honest. And if you don't like the honesty, that's your problem. It's not mine. I'm just being honest. And I thought about that a lot. I said, okay, I get what you're saying, and I respect it. And I thought a lot about it, and I realized something from it. So something that popped into my mind, I'm hearing this. This is not the first time I've heard somebody say, well, I'm just being honest. Okay, there's not a lot of good ways to say this outside of the fact that, I feel like people are starting to use that as a catch-all to get away with saying rude stuff. My mom and dad taught me that it's important to not be rude. I grew up in a small town. We moved from Chicago to Cape Breton when I was a kid, and in a small town, you don't get to be a jackass, because you see those people on a regular basis. So you can't shoot your mouth off all the time whenever you feel like it. You have to be, reasonable, and you have to be respectful of people. And I've tried to do that in my life, and my mom and dad, instilled that in me, that you need to be respectful on a regular basis. So one of the things that's popping into my mind now, thinking back on this client and what they had to say, was this. I feel like a lot of people, I've run into a few people who've done this one, the whole, well, I'm just being honest, and if you don't like it, that's your problem. I think that's a catch-all for the opportunity to be a jerk. And I'll say it right now. If you're somebody out there, and maybe you are someone who can artfully be honest, but there's a big difference between artfully being honest and being respectful while being honest. Because let's be honest, let's be clear. I said honest too many times there. Let's be clear. Honesty is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with being honest. In fact, it's a very healthy thing to be. You should be honest. You should try to be honest with people. And I try to be honest as much as possible with everybody, while being kind at the same time. And there's a bit of a balancing thing there. You do need to be kind at the same time. So being harsh and being honest, and being kind and being honest, that's two totally different things. The problem I think we're seeing now, and I've seen it with some clients, I've seen it with some friends, where they are using harsh language while claiming I'm just being honest. Look, there's a big difference there. You can be honest and be kind. You can be honest and be harsh. Being honest and being kind is because you care about the person and you want the best for them. Being honest and being harsh is you just being a jerk, or for lack of a better term, a jackass, because you want the opportunity to say whatever's on your mind with no repercussions with hurting somebody's feelings. You know what? I got to say, I don't agree with that. I think that's wrong. I think it's a bad thing to do, because most of those people, my experience has been, and I could be wrong on this, but my experience has been that the people who are saying I'm just being honest, and it's just the way I feel if you don't like it, and the ones that are harsh. And I'm not talking to you guys that are, honest and kind at the same time. I'm not talking to you. This is the people who are harsh and, somewhat hurtful almost in the way they say things. They tend to have the thinnest skin. You really do. Because if you're that person who wants brutal honesty, I got to tell you, most people don't want that. Kind honesty, 100%. I think, I would appreciate kind honesty. Harsh, mean honesty it's not necessary. It's like somebody came out, I don't think I'm the best looking guy in the world, right? I'm just not. I'm not, everybody's cup of tea. If someone says to me, well, Devin, you're just not an attractive man, it is what it is, you're ugly. Okay, well, that's rude as hell, right? That's harsh honesty right there. Yes, you might be telling me the truth, but is it really necessary to say it that way? Saying, hey, maybe you're just not everybody's cup of tea, but that's okay, because somebody out there, some people do find you attractive. That's kind honesty. Same thing. It really is the same thing, but you're saying it in a different manner. And what my issue is at this point is I feel like people are covering and using the fact that they're claiming I'm just honest to say mean-ass shit to people, for lack of a better term. That's exactly what you're doing. And if you're one of those people, I'm sorry, you're being a jerk. For the sake of being a jerk, that's what you're doing. You don't say that stuff to your boss. And the thing is, when these are the things that strike me, you know enough not to say those things to people in position of authority or someone who could, maybe, help your career or whatever. You don't say those things to those people. You don't say to your boss, hey, shut your mouth, ugly. Shut your mouth, stupid. I don't want to hear what you have to say. You know what? Everybody here likes you. You don't say those things to your boss. And the reason you don't say those things to your boss is because they might fire you. That's harsh honest. So the problem is the people who are busy being harsh and honest, and they're only doing it because they think they can get away with it. And quite frankly, let's be frank and clear here, it's a form of bullying. You think you can do it to somebody, so you're doing it to that person. You're better than that. For all you people out there who are doing this stuff, you're better than that. You don't need to be rude. You don't need that. You can be kind at the same time. I try really hard to be kind to everybody. And whether or not you can help me, whether or not it's going to be good for me, let's just be kind to people. You know what? Being kind is not weak. It is. It's a form of respect. You're respecting yourself and you're respecting other people. So, if you're a person, if you're one of those people out there who are just using this catch-all of I'm just being honest and I'm going to say whatever is on my mind and I'm going to shoot my mouth off, you know what? The rest of us don't appreciate it. You're not somehow enlightened. You actually you're being a jackass. And you're being a jackass for the sake of being a jackass because you think you can get away with it. And unfortunately, you're not actually doing anything any good. You're not helping anybody. You're just helping yourself get away with something because you think you can. Be better. Do better. Listen, I know you can do better. My client who was being a little bit harsh, that person can be better. I know they are better because they're actually a really kind person. Maybe you're just having a bad day, but there was no need to be rude. There's no need to be rotten. We're at a time, there are a lot of people who are very stressed. A lot of people are really down on themselves. A lot of people are, worried about things because of pandemics or whatever else. Now's the time to be kind to each other. It's not the time to be honest to a fault. It's actually not cool. There's nothing cool about being honest to a fault. You know what? Try being kind and honest at the same time. That kindness it'll go a long way. It really will. Give it a try, guys. I'm Devin Sherrington. Try kind honesty. Don't fight the awesome.